We are live as we travel the uphill road, coming to you from Black Bottom, number one Detroit. We thank God that we have survived and now have arrived at the last stop. Living with reality, truth, and consequences. Exciting yet thoughtful conversation, monologue, dialogue, dynamic guest, interviews. Most importantly, you, the listening audience. Live chat. Soon coming will be live call in as we grow. Here at the last stop, we follow proven mathematical steps to its logical, biological, natural, commonsensical conclusion. Like 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? We all learn like that. So Dems, Repubs, Christians, Jews, Muslim, Hindu, and who do you do? Why must we compete when we all say that we believe in peace? In peace. In peace. In peace. Well, all right now, unbuckle your seatbelts. You have arrived at the last stop. I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bay.
Against their enemies. Remember when Merrick Garland collaborated with the leader of the teachers union to fabricate a letter claiming that parents at school board meetings were domestic terrorists in order to get a terrorist designation, in order to spy on and arrest them? Only one side does this. The Democrats are not just the violent ones, they're the oppressive ones, they're the tyrannical ones, they're the corrupt ones. It's all from that side. And you can only imagine, you can only dream of a world where Donald Trump's FBI is subpoenaing every bank for every penny that Act Blue has ever spent, that the SPLC has ever received, that the ADL has ever had passed through its coffers. And hell, I'm just thinking of places I think should be subpoenaed and investigated, but I'm off the mark, because actually what this would be Donald Trump going after the DNC and Act Blue and the Hillary Clinton campaign fund and the Joe Biden campaign fund and the Kamala Harris campaign fund, as well as all of the bank records of everybody associated with them. Can you imagine? And they say they're worried Trump's going to weaponize the FBI. He's going to make it political. It needs to be burned to the ground. The FBI needs to be eradicated, as far as I can tell, from what they've been up to. I mean, when they're not hanging out in Discord chats with future mass shooters, they're kneeling for Black Lives Matter and investigating Turning Point USA for daring to question an obviously fraudulent election. It's been politicized beyond anything any of us even expected, I think. Well, let's go to Representative Eric Schmidt, because again, some Republicans recognize the true situation we're in. Let's watch.
Blue Sky, the left-wing alternative to X, was so overwhelmed with these posts that the platform was forced to issue a statement warning its users to stop glorifying the murder. And it wasn't just random social media trolls. It was journalists, elite college professors, and even politicians, all but saying Charlie's assassination was justified because of what he thought, because of what he said. We saw the flood of hit pieces, the most powerful media outlets in the nation dishonestly attacking and villainizing Charlie for the most vicious possible terms. How can you ask us to unite under that? There can be no unity between good and evil. Somebody has to win this thing. And as a country, we have to absolutely reject it. And don't tell me it's both sides. It didn't happen in a vacuum. Over the past decade, we've seen an explosion of political violence, not just one-off lone wolf attacks, but organized, systemic political violence at a mass scale. It is not organic. It is the offspring of a dark and clandestine system funded in part with our own tax dollars, winning with a large network of foundations, NGOs, activist organizations, and front groups. This system lurks behind every radical leftist movement in our nation today. The George Soros empire has financed a vast ecosystem of radicals, all working together, dropping off bricks at riots to unleash a tidal wave of violently anarchists on our streets and to prop it up in an army of researchers and experts and journalists and propagandists who downplay the political violence. I'm going to ask you, because I don't have a ton of time, and I would point out, we've heard years of the left, their loudest voices calling anyone on the right extremists, MAGA Republicans, fascists, Nazis, an existential threat to democracy. Check yourself. And don't give me this both sides bullshit.
Excuse me there, yes. I'm sure that makes sense. It makes sense to me. You know, just laid it out just how it's been, how it was, how it's been, and kind of like how it is. So we need to get ourselves together, family. Quit falling for the okie doke, as they say. You know, they tell us that they're going to be attacking black colleges, and then all of a sudden they get these threats, anonymous threats. These are all psyops. You know what I mean? Psychological warfare, lies, to get our minds focused and thinking the way they want us to think, because they do want a race war. They just want war, civil war, race war, all kind of war they want right here. And we're actually in it right now. It just hasn't become flaming hot. But it has gotten hot, though, because of the murder of Charlie Kirk, whom I give condolences to his family. And I do have some respect for that young man, a high level of respect for him, for what he stood for. And I'll get off into that some other time, but what the gentleman was saying about the, let's turn down the rhetoric. Well, who's yelling and screaming? Ask yourselves that question, and I'm sure you can come up with an immediate answer. But if not, just go and research the reaction to Donald Trump's victory. You'll see who's yelling and screaming at the skies. Google the reaction to Charlie Kirk's murder, assassination. How these people are just running around like glory to the world. Hallelujah. You know, it's and you want to look at who's calling for violence too. Just Google it. Democrats or Republicans. You know, this is the time that we must be honest with ourselves and with others, because the lies that we absorb, the lies that we repeat, you're going to have to pay the price. We're going to have to pay the price for the lies that we say. Our word must be bond. I'm going to say that again. Our word must be our bond, because if your word is worth nothing, if you're just a liar and a deceiver, then to hell with you. Quickly. Come hell with you.
Of a battle in the marketplace of ideas, but in terms of rooting out the systematic domestic terrorist organizations that are radicalizing Americans into violence. We don't have to allow this. We should not allow this. And all we need to do is use the same tactics that the left used, not when, their side was being assassinated and the right wing was baying for blood. That never happened. No, they used these because we questioned an election. They started spying on us and throwing us in jail because we had a protest where 5 protesters were killed by police for being in group chats with people who wandered peacefully through the Capitol with an open door, high-fiving the police on the way in, for protesting at abortion clinics.
See, I'm
That's
sure
all it took for the
a
left
lot of
to
you
unleash hell on the right wing. Here we are,
never heard that.
with these terrorist networks now operating in the open, celebrating the actions of some of their murderous thugs in killing Charlie Kirk. If we can't round up these organizations, charge them with the terrorism that they are a part of and are funding, if we can't seize their money and shut them down permanently, then the government doesn't have a role in this country anymore.
That's a beautiful statement right there, coming from from Mr. Harrison Smith. The government is just inept. They're not inept. No, they're not inept, but they're just not serving the people. You know, they're not fulfilling their part of the contract. They're not upholding the Constitution. So I guess we just call it, it's the Wild Wild West. It's just a paraphrase, but that's not even a good paraphrase. It's just criminality from top to bottom. Yes, criminality from top to bottom. Your so-called intelligence agencies. Just think of that word, intelligence. They cloak these words and they just befuddle most of us, because most of us, well, as they say, we can't remember anything past a goldfish. The memory of a goldfish. You don't know what happened yesterday, last week. You just the definition of Negro. One of the definitions of Negro, neither for nor against. The wind blow that way, and now I'm going that way there now. But we're easily led in the wrong direction and hard to lead in the right direction. Right guidance, sound doctrine. The Bible says that we don't want to hear that. That's your Bible now. The Bible says that you don't want to hear sound doctrine. You'd rather hear that tickle stuff that tickles your ear and lies to you. You gonna believe your lying eyes, or you gonna believe what I tell you? I'm sorry. I'm Mansa Bay, AM, your conductor and host. This is the last stop. Here you're going to get conclusive dialogue, conclusive factual dialogue. Because I remember the old movie when I grew up, there was detectives called Dragnet. And their favorite saying was, just the facts, ma'am, nothing but the facts. Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Well, that's what you get here at the last stop. Living with reality, truth, and its consequences.
And this is, if they really do it, if they really commit to dislocating these NGOs,
non-government
it's the one thing that could genuinely save this country.
Offices.
Dismantling these funding mechanisms for the domestic terrorists is what we've been begging for years. Clip 42, here's J.D. Vance making a promise that I sure as hell hope he keeps. Let's watch.
And was buried and rose again on the third day. Charlie believed, as I do, that all the truth he told flowed from that fundamental principle. I really do believe that we can come together in this country. I believe we must. But unity, real unity, can be found only after climbing the mountain of truth. And there are difficult truths we must confront in our country. One truth is that 24% of self-described, quote, very liberals believe it is acceptable to be happy about the death of a political opponent, while only 3% of self-described very conservatives agree. 3% is too many, of course. Another truth is that 26% of young liberals believe political violence is sometimes justified, and only 7% of young conservatives say the same. Again, too high a number. In a country of 330 million people, you can of course find one person of a given political persuasion justifying this or that or almost anything. But the data is clear. People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem. If both sides have a problem, one side has a much bigger and malignant problem, and that is the truth we must be told. That problem has terrible consequences. The leader of our party, Donald J. Trump, escaped an assassin's bullet by less than an inch. Our House Majority Leaders, Stephen Scalise, came within seconds of death by an assassin himself. And now, the most influential conservative activist in generations, our friend Charlie, has been murdered. This violence, it doesn't come from nowhere. Now, any political movement, violent or not violent, is a collection of forces. It's like a pyramid that stacks on top, one support on top of the other. That pyramid's got a foundation of donors, of activists, of journalists, now of social media influencers, and of course of politicians. Not every member of that pyramid would commit a murder. In fact, over 99% I'm sure would not. But by celebrating that murder, apologizing for it, and emphasizing not Charlie's innocence, but the fact that he said things some didn't like, even to the point of lying about what he actually said, many of these people are creating an environment where things like this are inevitably going to happen. A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California, and since, we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone. But there was a loud and very cool minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity. "You should disown your dad, you little shit," one middle-aged woman yelled.
Look, we tried. We really did. We have to go after these people. We have to be harsh with them. We have to treat them like they treat us, because we're innocent and they're guilty. They actually are the violent ones. They actually are the insane ones. They actually are the ones who are right now trying to instigate sedition and a coup against the government of the United States. We have to stop them.
Look at Alex. He's crazy. Oh, man. They've got some commercials now that are just... Yeah, they're funny. Yes, this is the...
But I couldn't have done it without the help of Ultimate Burger. Order yours now.
Alex Jones. They come up with some new commercials here because they don't get no funding from the government. All of their funding comes from their viewers, from the listeners. They thought that they had gotten rid of this guy. They did everything possible to get rid of this man. Why? Because he knows what he's talking about. He's done the research. For years, he has done the research.
This is War Room, final hour. I'm going to open up the phone lines for your calls. Before I do that, I want to mention, during the commercial breaks, you may see these AI creations. I want to give a shout out to the guy who creates those at Wars of the Info, at Wars of the Info on X. He's the one who creates all the AI creations. He just made a really cool thing for me for Moonbase that I'll probably reveal on the Wednesday episode, maybe post it on Wednesday. But yeah, Wars of the Info. Give him a follow because he puts
I'm
together,
going to
together those.
I'm going to have to get something like
those
that.
AI
Some AI going on here.
advertisements. And,
Oh
he's
man, look
very
at this.
good.
Okay,
So
that's
if any
good. That's
businesses
cool.
out there want to hire somebody to make some real AI art at Wars of the Info.
At Wars
Go follow
of
them.
the
Give them a
Info.
follow, give them some support, and tell
Okay.
them thanks for the incredible
I'm going to have to look
creations.
into that.
Now, I'm going to give out the phone number. If you want to call in, the number to dial is 1-877-789-2539. 1-877-789-2539. I got a lot more videos to.
I look forward to the time when I can, call, give you the call out number, call in number. I can give out the call in number so that we can dialogue live on air. We can we can dialogue, and so I look forward to it. And I think one of my cameras, it just went dead on me there, but that's how it goes sometimes. But I'm here with Harrison Smith, and this is the War Room. He's taken over from Owen Schroyer, who used to be the War Room host on the Alex Jones InfoWars network here. But Owen Schroyer has moved on to other pastures, but Alex Jones has a heavyweight lineup, heavy hitters, would you say, on the bench. Although Harrison used to host his own show in the morning times called the American Journal, which I'd love to watch because his perspective is interesting. He comes from a calming perspective, but he hits to the core too, though. Like he says, "Hey, I'm tired of this." He says, "This, like he said, treat them the way they treated us." I mean, they arrested people who were never in D.C. They arrested people who just had a chat with somebody who was there.
So now you've got Trump on board with declaring them a terrorist organization, as they should be, and should have been a long time ago, since that is what they are, obviously. We can go to that video. I think it's video number 2 here. This is Trump being asked if he would be willing to designate Antifa a terrorist organization. Let's watch.
Do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can read?
There are other groups, yeah. There are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing, where they're throwing bricks at cars of ICE and Border Patrol. And they come in with a beautiful new car. They're so proud. It's Border Patrol, ICE, it's got whatever it is. And they're throwing rocks at it. And after 50 yards, it looks like an old beat-up vehicle. It was just brand new. It was just bought for the purposes. And they don't have to take that anymore. I let it be known. We'll take responsibility. They don't have to take it anymore. And they don't want to take it. They were told by a past administration, it became almost a culture. If somebody throws a rock at you, do nothing. If somebody spits in your face, do nothing. And I say, when they spit, you hit. You do whatever you want. You do whatever the hell you want.
So, again, it's good to see Trump say this. However, on the Chiron, the lower third graphic there, it says, Trump, semicolon, I would designate Antifa a domestic terror organization. Okay, there's one word in there that needs to change.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
What do you mean you would? Do it.
Do it.
You need to do it. What? What do you mean you would do it? You should be doing it. You should have done it. Let's go.
See, this is why I like Harrison again. He
Trump's like, yeah, I would. Okay, then do. What do you mean?
Yeah.
All of my issues with Trump, this administration, is purely impatience. The entire time, I've been very negative on Trump, but it's because it's like, what do you mean you would designate? What are you doing right now?
Okay.
You got some free time right now? Tell you what, designate them a terrorist organization. How long does it take?
5
You don't even do
seconds.
anything. Just say it.
Just say
Say
the
they are a
words. Yeah.
terrorist organization. Get the ball rolling. Get the machine churning. Because the instant that you declare them a domestic terrorist organization, it's over for them. You confiscate all of their money. You shut down all of their bank accounts. You gather all of their communications.
You see, that's what needs to happen.
See, it's different with
See, I tell you, Harrison Smith, like I said, I like the way he brings stuff to the table. And like he said, he said his problem with Trump is his impatience. Like he said, what you would do it. No, he says, do it. I'm 100%. You know, they are domestic terrorists. It's that simple. Antifa, domestic terrorists. Well, the Black Lives Matter, they were terrorists as well. They burnt up cities all across the country for a man who died of a drug overdose. Yeah, George Floyd. He died of a drug overdose while being arrested. Okay, tragic loss of life. Okay, but to elevate him to the stature of Jesus, no, so God Himself. Excuse me for yelling that. Dang, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, people?
You know what that allowed them to do to us? As soon as we were designated, under whatever level we were put at, they were able to try to interfere with our business directly by putting agents in our office. They're able to get our communication records. They're able to get bank records. All sorts of stuff. In 2013, you know what that means now that it's 2025? They never found anything. We weren't doing anything. We aren't a terrorist organization. They had monthly meetings about InfoWars every month from 2013 until probably whenever, it may have gone on through Trump. I'm not even sure if it ever ended. It might still be going on now.
Right.
It just
may be.
To look over what information they've gathered from us, and they're justified and say, well, let's just go another month. Yeah, well, one more month. We'll do another month here. And here we are, 12 years later. They got nothing. It's a little different than how it's going to be with Antifa. I think you get a day's worth of communication on Antifa, and you'll be able to arrest every single one of them for direct knowledge of crimes.
Yeah.
Or planning crimes, or any other RICO charge you could face them with. I mean, it is ridiculous this hasn't been done before. It absolutely has to be done.
It really
now.
is. And
like so many things with Trump, I'm happy he's saying it. I'm pissed he hasn't done it yet. You gotta see everything.
I like that. I told you that. Harrison is something else with himself. But yeah, this is what we're looking at. And if this administration, this Trump administration right now, it has to do what Harrison Smith is talking about. It has to prosecute all of these people. It really has to do that. There's no alternative. The alternative is death. Yes, the alternative is death because they openly say that they want to kill everybody. Not only did they kill Charlie Kirk, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, they spout and say that they want to kill his wife and his children. Oh, you probably haven't heard that because you look at NBC, CBS, and CNN. You listen to that group. That's the brainwashing channels. Yeah, those are the ones that spread the propaganda. They'll spread the psychological warfare on you, you know. But have you heard that aspect? That gleefully wanting to kill his wife and children, and all Republicans, really, they have said this. They just want to kill everybody. This is a death cult, a pedophilic death cult, a trans, what are they called? I don't know. He, she, they, them, what the hell? Cult. You talk about some cults. You talk about some brainwashing evil. I'm going to be presenting some cases on this evil and this wickedness, the spirit of wickedness and evil that has pervaded now this country. Yes, there's a spirit of evil, a satanic spirit is here. It's been here, but it had to escalate because the God of justice is on the scene now too. So there's a war going on, ladies and gentlemen. Family, there's a war on for our minds. Info wars. What a heck of a business title that Alex Jones came up with. That was pretty. That is very cool. Info wars. We are in an information war. Where are you getting your information from? Whatever information you got, be it about Christianity, about Islam, about Charlie Kirk, about Donald Trump, about Alex Jones, about your fellow Mansa Bay AM, about Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad. Where are you getting your information from? Is it a trusted and verifiable source? I venture to say, for the most, and generally speaking, no, you have no trusted or verifiable source. And if you do, please, I mean, I ask you vehemently to share something in the comments. Comment. I'll reply back to a comment until I'm able to open up this dialogue where you can call in and we can talk live on air. Mansa Bay, the last stop, living with reality, truth, and consequences.
An Israeli pedophile blackmail ring.
Dang, did you hear that?
Remember that? I was like, well, you know, he has that legal trouble with underage girl. It's like, oh, the Israeli blackmail operation that targeted Matt Gaetz and his father, tried to extort $20 million from them. A scheme that they've run multiple times before, claiming to need the funds to go rescue an Israeli spy that was trapped in Iran. But also, we're gonna, not tell you, but possibly send you some underage girls just to really get that. It's a carrot in the stick. It's a carrot in the stick. Well, you're really gonna help us, and you're gonna be really celebrated for this. I mean, you're gonna be a hero if you give us this $20 million, and if you don't, then maybe you go to jail. Maybe your career's ruined. It's a carrot and stick sort of operation that they pulled on Matt Gaetz and then used that and weaponized it to get him to drop out of contention for Attorney General. Now we have Pam Bondi, who was a part of the original Jeffrey Epstein agreement to give him basically no jail time for being convicted for sex trafficking, which Kash Patel now says never even happened.
Yes, Pamela Bondi, the Attorney General for the United Snakes of America. Yeah, I almost misquoted and said United States, but no, I said it properly. The United Snakes of America. Pamela Bondi, the Attorney General, sitting on her blonde-haired butt. I guess daydreaming and counting sheep, or I don't know what she's counting, but she's doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. Kash Patel, head of the FBI, has done absolutely nothing. Dan Bongino, deputy head of the FBI, has done absolutely nothing. Tulsi Gabbard, head of the Department of Justice or National Security Intelligence Agency. But anyway, Tulsi Gabbard, strong lady. She's done more than all of them. She has done more than all of them. Tulsi Gabbard. Yes, she is performing. Robert F. Kennedy. He is doing a spectacular job. I got some impatience with Robert Kennedy also, however, but he's doing something. Yes, he really is. I would inspire and advocate for that. He get with the president over these chemtrails, these chemicals that they're spraying in the sky. I've been spraying in the sky on us for most of my life, having us breathing in aluminum. Oh, just all kind of shit. Excuse my English. But all kind of stuff that poison. It's all poison though. Yeah, got us breathing in this poison. And it's inconceivable that you have your Attorney General, the FBI Director, Deputy FBI Director have done absolutely nothing. I mean, I'm like slapping myself upside the face right now. Am I dreaming? No, I'm living with reality. Truth and its consequences. And the consequences, if these criminals are not held to account, then we will find ourselves totally enslaved, eating bugs and owning nothing. That's the forecast. I'm Mansa Bay, AM, your host and conductor. The last stop, living with reality, truth, and its consequences.
Well, I elaborated as much as I could. I mean, what I've been told for months and months, talking to administration insiders, is that Trump is frightened of the Israeli influence, especially after his experiencing two assassination attempts. That's what we're unmasking. Is the biggest foreign influence infiltration operation in American history that is basically taking control of an administration that says it's America first and is taking us to a very dangerous place.
So that's Max Blumenthal on the Alex Jones show. Alex tweeted it out at Real Alex Jones. Israel placed surveillance devices inside Secret Service emergency vehicles and around the White House. Trump fears assassination by Netanyahu. And of course he should. I mean, look at JFK, right? There's an old Bill Hicks joke. I need to find it, but it's from some. I used to dig into YouTube and find these old, like, unaired. Somebody transferred it from VHS. It's in some basement bar in Austin at some point. But Bill Hicks had a joke where he'd say, probably the first thing that happens as president is they bring you into a little room just off the Oval Office and they play the other angle of the JFK assassination, the angle that shows the shooter on the grassy knoll. And they simply play that and look to the president and say, any questions? You're going to do as you're told. Or else this might happen to you. So there's the implicit threat of that.
Yes, I would have to agree with Harrison what he said right there. Yes, they're not blackmailing Trump because he's clean. His family is clean. So assassination or murder is the only other option that it could be. JFK, RFK, MLK, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is the first political assassination since 1960, I think it was 68, when MLK and RFK were both assassinated, murdered. 68, 78, 88, 08, 18. That's 40 years right there, 2018 and 47 years. This is big. So I just want you to do your research. Don't take my word for nothing. Don't take Harrison Smith's word for nothing. Don't take Alex Jones' word for nothing. Do your own research.
But I talked about the Alex Jones show. Alex tweeted it out at Real Alex Jones. Israel placed surveillance devices inside Secret Service emergency vehicles and around the White House. Trump fears assassination by Netanyahu. And of course he should. I mean, look at JFK, right? There's an old Bill Hicks joke. I need to find it, but it's from some. I used to dig into YouTube and find these old, like, unaired. Somebody transferred it from VHS. It's in some basement bar in Austin at some point. But Bill Hicks had a joke where he'd say, probably the first thing that happens as president is they bring you into a little room just off the Oval Office and they play the other angle of the JFK assassination, the angle that shows the shooter on the grassy knoll. And they simply play that and look to the president and say, any questions? You're going to do as you're told. Or else this might happen to you. So there's the implicit threat of that.
Yes, I would have to agree with Harrison what he said right there. Yes, they're not blackmailing Trump because he's clean. His family is clean. So assassination or murder is the only other option that it could be. JFK, RFK, MLK, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is the first political assassination since 1960, I think it was 68, when MLK and RFK were both assassinated, murdered. 68, 78, 88, 08, 18. That's 40 years right there, 2018 and 47 years. This is big. So I just want you to do your research. Don't take my word for nothing. Don't take Harrison Smith's word for nothing. Don't take Alex Jones' word for nothing. Do your own research.
But I talked about the fact that in a lot of the cases of high-profile assassinations, you have the murderers, the conspiracy, have somebody at the hospital to finish the job in case they survive the initial attack. And there's speculation that's what happened with General Patton, that they tried to assassinate him in a car wreck. He survived it, made it to the hospital, should have recovered, but instead ended up dead, apparently through poison or through some other intervention at the hospital by somebody there. And I said this because I was suspicious on how Netanyahu was the first public figure to announce that Charlie Kirk had died, meaning that he had direct communication with somebody in the hospital with Charlie Kirk. So I simply noted, if this was Israel, then they had somebody at the... we know they had contacts at the hospital. We don't know why they were there, other than to, keep Netanyahu up to date. But that means that if a force were to try to kill Donald Trump, shoot him, he survives, he gets put in an ambulance, they now have real-time tracking of that ambulance to finish the job. That's the only reason I can imagine that you'd want to put a tracking device on the emergency response vehicles when it comes to the Secret Service. Not the vehicle Trump travels in normally, the emergency response vehicle, the ambulance. I think another level of this, they say Bibi Netanyahu personally left a listening device in the bathroom of 10 Downing Street while Boris Johnson was Prime Minister.
What? Oh yeah, I did hear that.
What do you think he was trying to listen to? Is Boris Johnson doing a bunch of business in the bathroom? I don't think so. Did he not think it would be found? I think a big part of it is chutzpah, is doing something like kind of obvious to let your target know what you're doing. I think part of this is like a threat, like John Kirkow that Alex was referencing. That it almost became a joke with the CIA and Israel, where Israel would give them a gift and CIA would go, all right, I guess we'll go find the listening device now. And Israel's like, oh, yeah, probably. And then they go and they find one. And it was like, they had to stop accepting gifts because it was just every single gift had a listening device. They weren't actually trying to listen. I mean, if the device wasn't found and they got a microphone, great. But I don't think they didn't know. I think that it's like a threat. I think it's a threat. I think
they call it an unspoken secret. Yeah, an unspoken secret that, yeah, we will kill you. Well, we're in the times of revolution. We're in the changing times. I have to look up that song from, I think it was Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think they had a title song called Changing Times. I have to look it up. But we are in a change of times, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers. I only hope that we stay healthy, you know. Best way we can. Looking at some of these here. Alex Jones. I know he's working out with his daughter there. Well, I hate them things that they call burpees, boy. I tell you, I hate doing those. I hated doing them when I was younger, and I hate them now. I don't do as many now. I only do just a few, to be truthful. But by Allah's grace, and thinking of Allah, as you can see on the my desk here, we have "How to Eat to Live" by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and "Message to the Black Man in America." First, now understand that this message, the Nation of Islam, was for the black man in America first, because we were the worst of the people on the planet. And to fulfill the scripture that God promised Abraham that he would come himself and judge the nation that we would be serving at the time. So after this 400-year period. So that's, again, do your research. But anyway, yes, How to Eat to Live. Now, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. My biggest takeaway out of this book here, How to Eat to Live, is eating one meal a day. One meal every other day. One meal every 3 days. One meal every 4 days, although he does not say that in the book. He stops at 3 days. One meal every 3 days. But me and my crazy self, when I was contracting down in Georgia, I'd eat maybe twice a week. I'd go once every 3 days, once every 4 days, you know. Yeah. And I was working hard construction out in the hot sun. And at lunchtime, we were working at a school, doing some inside work on a big school. At lunchtime, I'd go out and run a mile on the track. Tripping, boy, I tell you. I used to wear a white shirt and tie, laying brick, yeah. I guess that was just the spirit of Allah, you know, and just feeling good, feeling light. Those were some good days, and I've not had a chance to eat every 3 days since I've been here. Last few years, I've been through a couple of surgeries, which has kind of hindered my workouts. But I'm getting back into working out, and I thank Almighty God Allah for bringing me through the surgeries, and I'm able to hear and talk with you now. But family, we're in the midst of what the Bible, the Scriptures say, a time that never was before. The difficult times we're in. However, we can thrive. Not only just survive, we can thrive through this difficult time. But the only way we can do it is to take hold of Almighty God. Whatever God that you worship, you better get close to Him. As long as it's the God that wants to do good, not the satanic God, because he wants murder, mayhem, abortions, pedophilia. Oh man, this thing is so sick. I'm gonna do another broadcast on that and pull up some of the sickness that is really that has infected the world. This is not this is not an American so-called problem issue.
Listening audience.
No,
Live
this
chat.
is a
Soon coming
worldwide
will be live call in as
happening.
we grow. Here
Understand
at the last
that.
stop,
This is
we follow
worldwide.
proven
I'm your host and
mathematical
conductor,
steps
Master
to
J.
its
A.
logical,
And you
biological,
have arrived at the
natural,
last stop. Living
commonsensical
with reality,
conclusion.
truth, and its
Like
consequences.
1 plus 1 equals 2, right? We all learn like that. So Dems, Repubs, Christians, Jews, Muslim, Hindu, and who do you do? Why must we compete when we all say that we believe in peace?
Well, all right now. Unbuckle your seatbelts. You have arrived at the last stop.